Major funding for this program is made possible by grants from HSH Nordbank New York branch and First American Title Insurance Company of New York, Perfect Building Maintenance, the Moinian Group. Additional funding for this program is made possible by grants from Anataris Real Estate, C.B. Richard Ellis, Fremont Investment and Loan, Signature Bank, Stonehenge Partners, Swig Equities, the Engel-Berman Group, the Witkoff Group, Titan Capital.
Welcome to Building New York. My name is Michael Stoller. 54 years ago, in Tehran, Iran, I'm 52, a young man is born. His family is in the textile business, and today this man owns 20 million square feet of office, residential, and even hospitality space. And I'm very fortunate today to have Joseph Moinian as my guest, Chairman, CEO of the Moinian Organization. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're 16 years of age. Your family is in Iran. The revolution hadn't started. And you come off a plane in 1971. You even Alitalia flight. Yeah. It's snowing.
Yes.
And you end up in Queens. Tell me a little bit about that.
Michael, I had a application of acceptance from Forest Hills High School, and that was a reason for me to obtain a student visa and get to United States. And I remember on February 18, 1971, I landed in Kennedy and went to Forest Hills High School 8 o'clock in the morning the day after, and it was a snowing night and it was cold, and I have great memories from those
Now,
days.
what you told me, because we joked, I've known Joe a long time, he's been on my other show, that you were in the 10th grade in Iran.
Yes.
And you came over there and you went to school and you said they put you in a different class. And you negotiated with them. What's this? You negotiated at 16 years of age. What happened?
Well, the level of education is somewhat different than United States. And really in high school, especially in mathematics, they really prepare you for college studies. So when I get here, I had some of those studies. I had a big lack of knowledge of English language. But in terms of mathematics, chemistry, and all of that, I was very advanced. So it really was no reason for me to attend the class based on my teacher. And I basically attended class just to have my English practices to be ready to graduate from high school.
Now, you graduate from high school, you're
Yes.
17 years of age.
Yes.
And you were working.
Yes.
You were telling me you were living right next to the old Alexander's department store on 63rd Drive.
Yes.
And you had two jobs, right?
Yes.
One was at Cozy
Corner Coffee Shop on Queens Boulevard. And I had another job in Pantry Pride Supermarkets on Queens Boulevard, across the street from Cozy Corner. And I used to go from one job to the other. And I remember in the summertime, I worked in excess of 20 hours a day to keep things moving.
And then you decided to leave Queens and go to Brooklyn to New York City Technical College, part of the City University, for a year.
Yes, I was still living in Queens, and I took the GG train every morning to go to New York City Community College in J Street and to start my college education.
But after a year, you said, look, this is not for me. This is not the life of a guy who owns 20 million square feet and half of the pictures down here in Lower Manhattan. You decide to go to work on McDougal Street?
Yes.
And what were you doing on McDougal Street?
I was working in a store and then became manager of a couple of stores and boutiques and jean and denim shops at that time. And those were the times where Village was very, very in, and people used to walk around 2, 3, 4 o'clock at midnight. And it was a very, very nice atmosphere, and I learned a lot while I was in.
Were you working also on the weekends at the Fiesta in New Jersey, the catering hall? Where you had every job over there?
Yes, I started as a kitchen worker in Fiesta Catering Banquet Hall in Woodridge, New Jersey. I worked myself up within few months, not so long, to get on the floor and do waiting and doing the bar and all of that. So I have a first-hand experience, knowledge on
that's
food
how you
and
became
beverage.
in the hospitality business.
You know?
It was a good experience.
Yes.
Now, you're 19 years of age, and you decide to go into the schmata business.
Yes.
You're the first Persian Iranian who goes into and you start a company, Billy Jack.
Yes. We started a company, several companies. The first company we started was Sandpiper, and this was in 1973. And we started with $10,000 capital, which after a little while we lost half or more. And we found our mistakes, and we started all over again. And we created a very, very healthy, very, very good size garment company that made dresses, sportswear, blouses, suits, and we were very, very successful. And then we went to outlet stores and had several outlet stores, mostly on the eastern part of the country, selling our own product in those outlet stores.
Okay. And then, as you said to me, probably when you were 18 or 19 was your first real estate transaction. You bought this property in Douglaston?
The first property that I bought, I remember I was not 20 years old yet, and it was a property between Marathon Parkway and Douglaston Parkway on a street called Deepdale Avenue. And we bought this condemned-looking house for $23,500. And in few months, after good amount of paint, new glass, a new Formica kitchen top, and good set of cleaning, we sold it for $32,000. And this was my first real estate transaction in city of in New York.
But then the real start, the real beginning of this entity that owns 20 million square feet today was the decision in 1990
Yes.
to buy 450 and 460 Park Avenue South.
In 1981, as by then we made substantial amount of money in the fashion business. I bought 450, 460 Park Avenue South along with my partner.
So that's in 19...
Yeah, about 150,000 square feet, which, by the way, we still own and enjoy.
And you converted that from a loft building to an office building?
Yes, it was like a shipping and a industrial building mainly, and now is 100% office with retail in the ground floor. And from there, we bought a package of 9 buildings in the Flatiron area at one time, smaller buildings, which we still own, all but one. And that's how little by little we started in the real estate. While we were doing the fashion business, we were going parallel with the real estate business. And as we made money in real estate, in apparel, we put the money into real estate and invested.
Right, but the turning point, you had, as you said, you had the garment business, you had the apparel business, you had the real estate business, but you really left the garment business in total in 1990. I mean,
Yes.
we don't want to talk, we're talking about building of the tri-state area because you did own a property on Broad Street in Newark,
Yeah.
but you own the Lowe's Paradise in Paradise Island.
Yes.
But in 1990, you went to the banks
Yes.
and negotiated.
Yes. Well, at the time, between 1988 and 1992, as you might have remembered, things were not as good as today. And financial institutions wanted out of the real estate, basically. So they were willing to take a discount and get their mortgages paid back. And I went and I made a deal at that time with the financial institution. And they gave me a good backing to go and buy my mortgages back from the financial institutions. And I made quite a few deals buying my own paper back and at a discount. So we paid anywhere from 30 cents to 70 cents on the dollar. Bought our mortgages back. Went back subsequently to those buildings, spent some money, filled them up again, and by the beginning of 1993 and 1994, the page was turning. Things
Right.
were getting better.
And it's 1994.
Yes.
And GE Capital
Yes.
comes to you and says, the building's still here. They say to you, I'm going to give you a deal of a lifetime.
Yes.
You bought 90 John Street. Tell me a little bit
Yes.
about 90 John Street.
Yes, I by this time, maybe I'm an owner of less than 2 million square feet of buildings. And I meet with GE Capital, and they told me that they took this building, 90 John Street, in a foreclosure, and they would like me to buy it. And I did give them an offer, and finally I bought the building with a zero interest at $12 a foot, between $12 and $13 a foot.
So you bought a building in 1994 for $12 a foot.
Yes.
That included the ground, that
Yes.
included the structure
Yes.
for $12 a foot.
Yes.
And Lower Manhattan was really
Yes.
not in the best of shape.
Yes.
And that was Mayor Giuliani time,
Yes.
and he created what they
The
would say
revitalization of
the Lower Manhattan,
yeah.
and there was the 421G program.
Yes, great program.
And you were at the forefront,
Yes.
and you did what at 90
And
John Street?
Yeah, and we converted the top half of the building to 221 apartments. The bottom half as a retail, garage, and offices. And I just, for your information, maybe less than 2 weeks ago, I just rented a piece of the ground floor on this building that I paid $12 a foot. Just rented it for $58 a foot. And this building was a great, great building. One of the first, probably the first building that was completed for converting a Class B office buildings into apartment buildings. That the hope was then to create this 7-day, 24-hour community in downtown, which today is very well created and everybody is enjoying.
The next acquisition was 90 William?
We had 90 William we bought not too long after, and then we started expanding a little bit on downtown.
You went to 17 Battery?
I went to 17 Battery and I bought, the building was condoed before my ownership in different parts of the building, different sections of the building. And throughout possibly 5 to 6 years, I bought every part of the condominium. So I own the entire condo by ourselves right now.
And what's at 17 Battery today?
17 Battery today, the complex includes a very, very good garage, good amount of retail, about 1 million square feet of office space and 496 apartments. And that building has the greatest views of Statue of Liberty, and Ellis Island is right on the water, is great.
But you really love downtown.
I love downtown.
I mean, recently you converted the downtown athletic club. You're
Yes.
making that into a condominium.
Yes, to 285 apartments, beautiful landmark building. It's right next to 17 Battery building, and it's right across from the Battery Park, which is a beautiful park and probably one of the nicest piece of greenery in Manhattan that's located on the water. And I enjoy the park. I enjoy owning buildings on the park, and that building is a condominium form.
Now, 90 Washington was
Yes.
one of the first Liberty Bond deals.
Correct. 90 Washington was a former Bank of New York offices. We bought this about 3 years ago, and we converted it to 398 apartments. There's a rental building, and it's called 90W. And it is a very, very nice building, well done, with very, very great views, and it's one of our pride and joy in the company.
And then, I mean, because I want to leave, besides owning everything downtown, you have other areas. Then a couple of years ago, you bought the Class A 180 Maiden Lane.
Yes.
And today, you're developing, for my audience, a very interesting project, the W Hotel and condominiums.
Yes. We are doing a 57-story hotel condominium, which will anchor the southern part of the Memorial Park. It is located exactly right behind the Deutsche Bank building that's being deconstructed. And we are hoping to open the hotel in 2008. And we're doing other projects. We are taking 95 Wall, which is in excess of 500,000 square feet. We have converting it to 508 rental apartments under a 421G program. And down on 180 Maiden Lane, you mentioned one of our very, very nice buildings again. It's downtown has been great. And some people, Michael, they tell me, why downtown? What's the relation between Joe and downtown? And I have to say, I was there, I feel, in the beginning. And B, I think there's a bunch of us that went through a certain sentiment through 9/11. And I think going through all of that, it leaves us subconsciously a certain feeling that we are attached to downtown.
And now you go west. You go west. Tell my audience a little bit about the West. I mean, Joe Moinian, who really at that time never built anything. I mean, you renovated, then you decided to build. Tell me about the first building at the Biltmore site.
Yeah, well, we are involved in West for about a dozen years. We did Infinity Court, converting a warehouse building to apartments many years ago, and we did many projects, but small. And we took a plan on setting up certain projects on 8th Avenue. I bought a block, 47, 48th Street on 8th Avenue, where you see today a 53-story apartment building. And we did a building in partnership with Jack Parker Organization. And then we did 53rd to 54th Street, a 48-story building that
called the Mark.
Called the Mark, which is a very, very beautiful building.
On the former parking lot, the city
Correct.
garage.
Yes, former parking lot. I built that building. And then we also did 1775 Broadway, which is a full square block. That's 8th Avenue, 57, 58th Street, which when I bought it, 8th Avenue towards AOL Center was not
there was
the
no
best
AOL
side.
sweater.
That's right. But today is the better side of that building.
And
I know
more important than that is probably the sign up
yes,
on the top, which
yes,
is now
the
was the
sign.
Discovery sign, and now it's the
today's
CNN.
CNN sign, and it's a very, very nice sign.
And how do you get to 42nd Street?
As I found myself being a little bit late on 8th Avenue to grow because of increasing prices, I decided to study further west. And I easily bypassed 9th and 10th Avenue because I found myself to see great views on 11th Avenue because you get to the water. And I have a handful of projects in the 11th Avenue and Hudson Yard areas. And we are developing the next several years in excess of 4 million square feet. That's on the drawing board right now. And why 42nd Street? Because of many reasons. Because this is the only area in Midtown that you can grow. There are now tax incentives for office buildings. And we have the moving of the train station from Penn Station to the Moinian Station, bringing the station more than 1 block west, or maybe 2 blocks. And then you have the extension of number 7 train that's coming from Times Square all the way to 41st and 11, making a left turn to 34th Street. And I have properties all along that area.
Right, but right over there today, you're selling this magnificent condominium,
Yes.
which is on 42nd Street
Yes.
between 11th and the water.
Yes, we have a beautiful project called Atelier. Atelier is a condominium project, and we hope to occupy this building right in the turn of the new year on 07. And it is doing great. It is a very, very beautiful building. It was built on time, on budget, with great marketing, and we are very, very happy to have done this project. And we have a project next to it.
A sister project next to it.
A sister project that we will break ground also beginning of next year, building. That area is very, very good.
And you know, people who, I don't want to age myself, but people remember on the west side there was something called the Market Diner. Mm-hmm. And you bought the Market Diner, right?
We bought Market Diner, I think.
Every taxi cab driver
Yes.
who knew about it,
Yes.
this was where they would
Yes.
always go there.
Yes, a great, great, great spot. There's a whole community because of what I built and a few other developers built, as well as Larry Silverstein built. It's a whole community, and we are working with a restaurateur right now
To reopen the Market
to
Diner?
reopen the Market Diner, because there's a need for that. And, I'm sure it would be a great thing.
You know, it's interesting. I want to, you know, here's a guy who, you know, you told me that your father, who I've met, who's a wonderful individual, who came over after the revolution,
Mm-hmm.
said to you, you should do 3 things in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should, for your life, you should have 1/3 in financial resources,
Yes.
1/3 for your business, for whatever business, and 1/3 should be in real estate. You've gone more than 1/3 in real estate, but you followed that practical approach.
Yes.
And you've done that. And
Yeah, Michael, you know, I come from a very traditional family. And tradition to us, being from Iran, being Jewish, our heritage, it's most important. And you know how elders give advice to the younger. It has, because of what happened to Iran, experiences that happened in the past, in the history. They always gave you advice that you should invest so much in the business and work with it, and have so much liquidity, and have so much just in case you have to, you know, run away and do things as a reason for something unforeseen.
right. You know, getting on something else. You then went to Fifth Avenue. I mean, you bought 2 years ago, I believe, you bought 530 Fifth Avenue.
Yes.
Where your offices are
Yes.
today, and you
Yes.
bought that with Joe Shatreat.
Yes.
And then this year, earlier this year, you bought the Zeus Portfolio.
Yes.
Which is what?
Which is a combination of 3 buildings that make a full block and another single building 1 block south of block front of 45th Street to 44th Street. And now we own both sides of the
So you're
Fifth
making it
Avenue.
Moinian way.
Well,
Now, then you went back to your roots.
Yes.
You went to the Garment Center,
Yes.
and you bought a number of properties
yes,
over there.
Yes, we own 1450 Broadway. We own 500, 512 7th Avenue. And all I want to tell you is that beside my family and beside my friends and beside my community, there are two things that I'm very grateful for. One, of course, is God that has been watching over me and my family. And the other thing, we live in a great country. This country is the country to be in, is the country that has the best to offer, and especially because now we invest in different cities around the country, and we are basically east and west and south and north. I just want to tell you, my feelings about New York City is always a special feeling. It is the best city in the world.
But you did go to Chicago a couple of years ago. I mean, you and your partner
Yes.
bought a very small building in Chicago, the
Yes.
Sears Tower?
Yes, we bought Sears. We very recently invested in Florida on a major project. We just bought a beautiful almost 2 million square feet Class A building in Dallas, Texas. We are very, very active setting up an office right now in California and Los Angeles, especially special concentration in downtown LA. And with the knowledge of what we know in New York, with the drive and the energy level that we have in New York, there are certain decision making and certain good things that we can bring to those cities, and if my company and I can bring those energies to those assets, we will buy them and we will grow throughout.
You have 5 children.
Yes.
Your dad was in the textile business in
Yes.
Iran.
Yes.
Would you like your 5 children to perhaps, I mean, they go from 8.5 to 22.
Yes.
Would you like them to perhaps join the business?
I'm not in a rush, Michael. I love what I do, and I found myself.
We're not saying you're going to retire, Joe.
No. I am far from being retired. I retire maybe when I'm 90. But I love what I do because I found myself doing what I like. And I think even though my children and my family, brothers, sisters, and their kids, they like also real estate, but I want them to find their own way. So if they come, I would welcome them with open arms and a lot of love, and if they don't, it would be fine.
So you're 52 years of age.
Yes.
36 years ago, you came here with an airplane ticket and you moved into Forest Hills.
Yes.
And today, you own 20 million square feet and growing. Joe, you are truly a builder of New York, and I'm really happy that I have had the opportunity to have you on my show today.
Thank you for having me, Michael. Thank you.
Major funding for this program is made possible by grants from HSH Nordbank New York branch and First American Title Insurance Company of New York, Perfect Building Maintenance, the Moinian Group. Additional funding for this program is made possible by grants from Anataris Real Estate, C.B. Richard Ellis, Fremont Investment and Loan, Signature Bank, Stonehenge Partners, Swig Equities, the Engel Berman Group, the Wickoff Group, Titan Capital.